Muy buenas, Ángel.
Muy buenas. Hola, Marcos. Hola, Andrés. Bienvenido.
Bueno, ¿qué os pareció? ¿Qué os pareció el evento? El evento de marzo que hemos tenido hace escasos minutos. Andrés, no sé si quieres compartir tus impresiones, porque es la primera vez que estás con nosotros.
Sí, espera que tengo un poco de eco.
Sí, tranquilo.
Vale, sí. Bueno, si quieres empiezo yo mientras que Andrés se organiza. Bueno, como siempre, creo que hoy tuvimos un poco más de afluencia de público, o sea, de público que tuvimos, que teníamos anteriormente, lo cual me alegra y, bueno, pues estoy observando también que tenemos a 6 personas que están ahora mismo en directo en Twitch, que es donde estamos haciendo el streaming en directo. Y no sé, estoy también atento al chat, no sé si hay alguna persona que no hable español, entonces igual a lo mejor deberíamos de cambiar a inglés. Pero quizás hago la pregunta, quizás voy a hacer la pregunta en el chat y comprobamos y vamos viendo.
Pues sí. Anybody needs to speak in English, or we can keep in Spanish, just in case?
Yeah, I think we could directly ask instead of chatting. Hola, Dio. I think someone is having problems with our survey, and perhaps it is a good time for us to check. Andres has dropped. Let me invite him again. Andres has dropped. Let me invite him again.
Hello.
Hello.
Do you guys hear me with echo, or do you hear me properly?
I'm hearing you properly. Yeah, there is someone, I don't know where is this coming from, but I'll mute myself for a second to check whether it's me or somebody else.
I think it's Andres.
It might be coming from you, Andres. It's a good point. Let me quickly check the survey. It might be that we are doing something.
I will check. I will check.
Are you? Yeah. Okay, you are on top of it. Okay, perfect.
Thank you, by the way.
Yeah. Thanks for let us know. I think this is Daniel. So thank you very much. So. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I was about to say like what I thought about this. Yeah, I was about to say like what I thought about this. Yeah, I was about to say like what I. Yeah. Anyway, I think. Yeah, in this case, I think we had quite a lot of new faces, which I was happy to see that. I think we had like 2 very, very interesting talks. I especially like the one from Andres. I could see myself on that journey, and I quite have to admit that I might not be at the end of that journey, and it's I'm still in one of those steps that you described. I'm not gonna disclose which one. But I'm still on that journey. So it's a relief that there is a way forward, and there are quite a good, let's say, like a path towards success. And yes, with Jürgen, I think it was very advanced. And Jürgen, quite good. Jürgen, I think it was. At the moment, I'm hearing myself. I don't know if you guys have the same problem, but
I'm mute.
Okay. All right. I don't know, Marcos. What do you think? And perhaps then we can give the stage to Andres for him to. I don't know if he's ready as well. So.
Yeah, for me was a super cool event. For many things. First, the speakers and the talks that they bring to us. Having Jürgen which has an official talk in the KubeCon in 2 months. I think it's amazing, and also it was a sneak peek about what he will present on that talk. I can tell you this KubeCon is one of those worldwide events that could have like 5K people in one single place. Now online, maybe even more. So it was really cool. Why? Because for me, Captain was a discovery. I didn't know about this project, and the fact of orchestrating the CI is a new concept for me. So I'm just used to play with Jenkins, this kind of stuff, and having something on top that could manage everything and put this chaos engineering in place, which again for me was totally unknown, is super cool. It's super cool.
That's why it was quite a way advanced for myself.
Absolutely.
Because I think I haven't seen anything like that before, and I think it was quite nice to see.
And for many people, I can tell you, I'm pretty sure. I mean, this chaos engineering is very trendy. I saw some report from Cheryl, the VP of the ecosystem of the Cloud Native Foundation. Actually, she shared in that report that the chaos engineering is something that is coming. So it's not here yet, or at least it's coming up.
So it's good to see that with Cloud Native Asturias, we are kind of putting our fingers in stuff that is quite recent and is quite new. And yes, as Daniel is saying in the chat, that's the problem. Time is the problem, right? That we want to play with everything that we have at hand and everything that it gets into our hands, and but time is limited and
it's limited.
Yeah.
And of course, the talk from Andres, I was waiting for that talk, because actually I'm in that kind of path nowadays in my current company, moving to a SaaS model. So many of the challenges that he mentioned actually had several questions, but because of the time, I didn't have the opportunity. I prefer people to raise questions. But yeah, super cool. I'm pretty sure many people in the chat was really willing to do this. So that, and also the last part you mentioned before, Angel, I think we managed. Let me check the numbers. We managed to have like a kind of a record, which is I think I can tell the number right, Angel.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
We have which
full
is
transparency, just in order to improve.
We have like 57 people like registered for the event, record for us, and what is more important, we have 32 that actually been in the event, so that they did the check-in and stay. And I saw that we get like 29 people full time, which is really difficult, I would say, because this is late time. We already come from work, tired, this kind of stuff. So keeping attention, I think, is super difficult. And the fact that the people stayed means that the speakers were good and the talks were amazing.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Perhaps I would like to ask Andres how he experienced it, and if he has anything to share with us now that he's joining us. I don't know, Andres, can you hear us? I can see that you might be having some little problems with your network. Are you still with us?
I don't see him. Maybe he's coming.
Maybe his connection dropped.
Did you notice, Angel, that this new thing that we put in the slides about the map, how to come to Asturias? The speakers did the same.
It's kind of a trend. I think it's gonna stay with our speakers.
Absolutely.
It's good because it puts everything on the context in context. So it's good to see that. Actually, Andres, do you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me now properly with no echoes and no nothing?
Yeah, I can hear you now. We can't hear now. So okay. Probably I can give you if you want to share your thoughts or your views on how the event went. please.
Yeah. So sorry, I think I had two sessions open or something. That's why the echo was coming. I really like what Jürgen shared, because we are actually also looking at this since the last year. Well, even because we started before 2 years ago probably, but then we decided that we were not there yet. We had our own chaos internally without introducing any new tool for it. So we wanted to stabilize the whole Kubernetes, the whole journey to the cloud, etc. And now that we are into the SaaS model, we want to start testing the system like that, like putting some systems down, putting the database down. We still have some dependencies between services, not a huge monolithic distributed like we mentioned, but we still have a couple of services that are key about especially access control and security, that if they are down, audit in the system, that the other systems will also be down. So we want to investigate how we can add more resilience to the system. And for that, it's actually a perfect tool. We were looking at Chaos Monkey and any other tools, but I was not familiar with this one. So like the people in the chat, I now have that in my to-do list to play with and to show to the team, so we can start using that one or any other similar. And yeah, I really like it. And from my side, it's something that I'm doing now with the new joiners. As the director of backend in R&D, when the new joiners, especially people with principal roles, etc., they join, they have these one-on-one sessions with me. And I normally, apart from talking about where I'm from, etc., I do a Backbase 101, because a little bit of history, because sometimes you go into a place and you see something like, okay, why are you guys using this or that? And well, let me tell you the story. Because we were doing this and we were doing that, and now, because, for example, the whole dependency that we used to have at the beginning on ActiveMQ, it was because we were using Cloud Foundry as our default place to deploy. And at the beginning, you didn't have container-to-container communication. So we were needing to do it via eventing. So that was the initial setup. And we keep carry on some of these decisions because it's not that easy to remove it from the system. We need to spend a year analyzing what's the next, because it has an impact in existing customers that are already in production. So we cannot drop technologies or ways of working that easy. So it was an interesting journey to share, I think, for everybody. I saw some of my colleagues in the call. Some of them they joined lately, like a year or two ago. So for them, it's also probably interesting to hear everything from 5 years back. Because yeah, we don't have that many people, to be honest, in the company 5 or 6 years like me, and you know that our companies normally rotate a lot. So well, I think it was interesting to share, and I'm happy that the people liked it. And we had some questions.
Yeah. It was really, yeah.
It was indeed.
I think someone asking a question to Andres. Perhaps we can just the time for that. You talked a lot about alignment between teams, and even you dedicated even a dedicated team to create a set of shared libraries. Did you consider a polyglot microservices approach? If yes, what was the reason to abandon it?
Well, at the beginning, because of the knowledge we had it in the company, it was all Java. So we keep it Java, and then Spring Boot, and we keep it like that. The service SDK we have is based on Spring Boot, Spring Cloud. Now that we have a little bit more stable ecosystem and we are starting to introduce new products, we see the need maybe to explore other setups. For example, one is still Java, but well, we are using Quarkus for the Keycloak part. So we are adopting Keycloak, and Keycloak moved to Quarkus themselves from the fat jar approach that they used to have. And we are actually contributors. So if you check the announcement of the latest Quarkus version, I think Identity Keycloak 10 or Keycloak 11 is the latest. They mention our team in Cardiff, which the guys were contributing to the Quarkus migration. So
congrats.
Yeah, we are still on Java, of course. But for example, we are also exploring some machine learning and things like this. So for sure, maybe Python is going to come into the picture. The moment you have a real microservice ecosystem when they communicate to each other via REST, but they don't have interdependencies with libraries, then you have the freedom to explore other languages. But from now being a little bit selfish, from my position of director of backend, because I need to keep all these guys doing the same things and not going roach to the jungle of features, etc. I prefer when we have a service SDK it really helps also the teams for the security check. So scanning the libraries that we use, all these things. If you have a team taking care of that and only giving to you, hey guys, these are the libraries you can use. Of course, we have to find this equilibrium between alignment and autonomy, and that's the CI navigating for a while, trying to keep everybody happy. But we discarded it for a while to try to keep it stable. But again, inside of the Java world, we are exploring Quarkus, Micronaut. Now Spring Boot is catching up with the whole natives, so maybe we want to stay with them, but they are a little bit slow compared with other frameworks. So we were exploring all of those. And again, depending of the products that we're going to build, we're going to move to different directions. Now that we are in a better place, more stable place to build on top.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice. So I don't know if you want to share something, guys, or something else.
What I could. What was the? I have a question, like more on that journey. Like, what was the growth that you have experienced at your company in terms of like how you guys scaled? Like you were a team of, if I recall correctly, you said something along the lines of a handful, like maybe 10 people when you started, and then now you are up to like, is it 1,000? Did I hear correctly? Or
yeah, more than 1,000. We are
so how was
the whole company when I joined was 150 or 200, something like that. My department was professional services, building services. And the backenders, we were 10, 20. The whole department was a little bit more, like 50 or 60. The bigger part of the company was and still is the R&D part, so the people building the product. And because we are building more products than ever, we are growing. So the whole R&D, I think now is 450 people. And then you have professional services, and then we have the rest, sales, pre-sales, etc. It was really difficult. So I joined as a senior backender, and then we divided the company following a little bit like the Spotify model. So I don't know if you saw that YouTube video when they do the guilds and the chapters, etc. So we adopted that. And we divided into chapters. So I was one of the chapter leads, and we started with 5 or 6, and then it was almost 20 that I have to manage. I was the direct manager, but also trying to build the craftsmanship and the knowledge. And I think for the last 3 years, the people in the company know me about knowledge gap. We have a lot of people joining. They don't know about the products. They don't know the best practices. So they try to do their best, but they go on their own in front of the customer. So they build something that is not aligned with what we recommend. And then support is more difficult. Everything is more difficult. We have an academy team building trainings, etc. And this year we are kicking a program called Backbaser to Backbaser, so employee to employee learning program. So we try to do every week, if possible. Sometimes it takes maybe 2 weeks to do small workshops, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. We record it, and then it's somebody explaining something about their product or about technologies they use, etc. We record it, and then we want to keep like a bibliothèque of knowledge, because it's impossible nowadays to attend all the guild meetings or catch-up meetings we have.
You have a very interesting calendar, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, sometimes you try to put a meeting and you only see blocks after blocks.
Yep.
But I also don't. So my role, and we have also director of front-end and mobile, is a horizontal role. So we don't belong to any of the products or any of the teams. So you don't have these ceremonies like the dailies, etc. You have all the things that you need to put in place to talk to everybody, but it's a different day-to-day. Sometimes challenging because you are not closer to the code, or not that close to the code that they used to be, or solving problems directly. I need to do a lot of POCs and investigating, and then convincing a lot of people to actually use what I discover. For example, we are trying to put across the company test containers. I don't know if you know the tool to testing via Docker. So I discovered the tool 3 or 4 years ago with one of the founders of the project, Richard North. The guy was working with me in London in a project for Metrobank. He was working in another company at the time. And I've been saying, guys, this is super cool. This is super interesting to testing in microservices world, to test different databases, etc. And I'm trying to evangelize for the last 2 years about the product and showing them how they can use it in their benefit for integration testing, app system. And so it's like that, and also sometimes making decisions, because as we said, in technology especially, there is no black and white. So sometimes some guys want to, I don't know, use Liquibase, the other guys want to use Flyway, the other ones want to use only SQL, and you say, guys, we need to get an agreement. All the tools solve the problem, but we need to pick one. So that's the kind of day-to-day. But it was really challenging, especially now we are in a better position, more stable. But when we did the biggest growth, we doubled the size in people. So it was, I think, probably 2-3 years ago, we were hiring like 30, 40 people every month. So it was just crazy. You were not even possible to catch up with everybody. So it was a hard time, but well, it's what we used to call growing pains. Well, it's
that's quite an impressive rate, I have to say, and time consuming. But what would you think? Because I guess by now you must have a really sharpened strategy on that knowledge gap. What would be for you the top three, notes that you would share with everybody on that to address that knowledge gap properly? If anybody on our audience, they need to do exactly the same, and they are facing that process of bringing on board a lot of people with that knowledge gap. What do you think is what would be your 3 top suggestions or recommendations?
Yeah, so the first one is to put some responsibility into the teams, also to speak up about the knowledge gaps themselves, because you identify them, you see them when you see the problems we have. I don't know, there was a time when we were struggling a lot with the whole testing area, and then the more microservices we added, we were struggling with the whole performance. So you notice that maybe we were not skilled enough or we didn't know even the tools to use to do proper performance testing in a microservices setup. So everybody was testing their own piece. So the guys, so you imagine that we have a car, so the people were testing the wheels, testing the steering wheel, testing the engine, and when you put it all together, it was not even a car. It was half Formula One, half bicycle, and then you couldn't even drive for one single lap into the circuit, right? So, guys, we need to put the whole system together. So I find that you have
system testing.
Yeah, what we call these T-shaped engineers, right? We have the people with one expertise, that is the T, but then they need to have other. They need to know that whatever they are building is part of a bigger ecosystem. And even if your piece works, whatever, I have my endpoints are all fine. Yeah, it doesn't matter because we need to connect it to another 3, and the security was not there, and the performance. So that was the kind of understanding, like putting some responsibility into the teams, also to help them grow, because if you are also growing 40 people per month, you need to fulfill those leadership positions, especially in a company like us, because hiring those leadership positions is not that easy. It's better to promote people internally. So that, and then promote some kind of program. I don't know, no need to be like the one we are building, but something internally for the teams to share what they are doing, to share a lot, because we have teams solving a problem that another team is going to have in 2 months. So if you have it somewhere, at least the teams can take a look and not reinventing the wheel. So can be in the model of doing these workshops, can be having a good internal wiki via Confluence or whatever, can be a mix of everything. We have now it's public, in our GitHub, we have what we call the golden sample. So it's a set of microservices, really small, 3 microservices doing dummy calls between themselves, but it contains all the best practices that we explain to the teams from the backend guild, how we do the database testing, how we do, I don't know, the communication between services using our own SDK. So all that is in GitHub to play with when you are a new joiner, but also from our customers, because also they set up. So encouraging the teams to share a lot, because even if you think it's dummy what you're doing, no, it's only a Maven plugin. Everybody knows about it. No, not everybody knows about it. Share it there because it's interesting. And
even when you share it,
the funny thing is most of these guys, or in our company, they participate or they contribute to open source projects. But then internally in the company, they have a different way of working. So they don't share things, they don't put proper readmes, they don't document what they do. But in the open source, you see them creating features for other projects, documenting everything, contributing to external documentation, but internally not. And the last one that we are experiencing now by force because of the SaaS model is you build it, you deploy it. It was something that it was not happening in the past. It was R&D building stuff, and then you throw it through the wall, and the people doing projects. Yeah, and then, hey guys, we are doing this. So then you go there and you see, oh, you're driving the car backwards. Yeah, because we needed to make it go as fast as we need. And then you go into that position of they don't know how to use the product, these guys. No, you need to, okay, let me try to do what these guys are doing and see if they are maybe not that crazy or maybe. So now we are forced because we have our own bus setup. Sometimes it's not easy to build it, you deploy it, but the closer you can get to something real to production during your testing process or during your setups, the more it's going to help the teams to get into the knowledge of the whole system, especially when you grow also. We were one product and now we are 5. We have an EIM solution. We have a flow engine based on Camunda. We have our microservices for banking. We have the product about the portal, the CX, the original one. So some guys, they join, they go to one team and they don't even know about the other products until they see it in one escalation from a customer. So it's better if we do all this testing internally.
Very good. Thank you for those insights. Actually, that's yeah. I guess the reason I was asking is because I suspect that this is a process that every company is going through, and given that you guys have that experience and that pace and that rate of onboarding new people, I think it was. If it works there, I think it will work in smaller instances. Yeah, thank you. I don't know if I think it's half an hour now. We don't want to keep you. Let's say I know you have a lot of stories and a lot of experiences to share with us.
I can come back any other time and share more. Sure. No worries.
Yeah. So yeah, we can do that. I think it's been nice to hear you with your stories and your experience. We'll invite you for future events for sure. Yeah, I think I don't know, Marcus, if you want to add anything else. But
it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure this event to have Andres and Jürgen. And Andres, yes, you are more than welcome to another Twitch session to share more insights and advices for the people. So thank you very much.
Thank you guys for inviting me, and thank you for kicking off this initiative. I think it's really cool that we are putting Asturias a little bit on the map. We had some joiners from my company. Now they are. I'm quite sure that they will check now, understand where I live. When I was telling them stories about Asturias and the north of Spain, because at the end, you know that the famous part from Spain, especially in the Netherlands, is the south. Mm-hmm. They all know Malaga, they all know these places, but the north, not that much. So it's good that we are putting ourselves in the map and showing these things. So I'll be a follower, and I'm happy to contribute any other time. I'm going to go with the shouting people that was shouting before in the call. I'm going to go and help mom with the 2 kids. And see you soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody. See you next time. Bye-bye.
See you.